Hello guys, welcome to another video. So today I've been receiving tons of messages and comments from you guys and also from my friends, from my WhatsApps, from my groups. They're all sending me information about Toronto housing market bubbles and also UK and Australia, okay? Because they're just like a family, okay? If there's bubble in Toronto, Vancouver, and might as well just in Sydney or also UK, London, stuff like that. So this is also like can be transformed to another bigger globalized bubble. Okay, so now I want to study this news with you because similar situations have been happening in Hong Kong and China within the 2013 to 2015. Okay, so I really want to walk through similar things with you, and also in there's some kind of same news similar to in 2006. Okay, so that's when I made my first purchase of my housing in back in 2006. Okay, so now how should we read the news? We really have to scale ourselves and separate ourselves with short-term housing price fluctuation, and along with the mid-term and long-term fluctuation. We really have to separate that. I've been talking about this separation of the analysis really for many times. Okay, so as long as not until we have separated the categories, okay, then we really can understand the news, what they are talking about, what their motives, what the writer or the speaker behind what they're thinking. Because some of the time they're talking about short-term news, some of the time they're talking about global. Okay, so there may be also the reason why we kind of mismatch our comments, and some of the subscribers commenting, we kind of not aligned, right? Because now I will talk about both short-term and also long-term, okay? And if there are any other news coming up, you really start to understand how you should interpret, how you should understand the news, the true useful reasons behind each news. Okay, so first of all, if you're new to my channel, I'm Greg. Welcome. Please subscribe to my channel. It's right here, and then you can click notification button, subscribe, and then click the notification button so you won't miss any of my newest video. So I see the views are going up for a little bit, and then I really appreciate for your support, and I'll try to reply each of the comments. As you can see, notification bar has only 4 comments left that I should reply, so I'm replying constantly. I really love to see your comments, especially about life term. You know, housing market decisions is really a big deal, because unlike stocks, we really make maybe for one person throughout their lifespan, they only make several of these decisions. So this is a big deal. Don't make it wrong. So I will put up my support and reasons behind so you can take a reference of. But whether you trust it or you believe in it or not, I urge yourself to do more studies behind. Just don't trust me, but you do your research. Okay, so the Toronto housing market, you see, the frenzy is over. Housing market finally pops. Everything about bubble, popping, deflate, and housing and sales, something like that, is really terrible. It's terrifying. All of my friends panic like hell, like there's no tomorrow. Okay, so if you're from Australia, don't wait. Okay, wait. It's about the same, because Canada and Australia, they are more like the GDP, are more like related to energy. It's said a correlation is around 70%. So they are like brothers and like not brothers and sisters, they're brothers. Okay, so they will go up and down together. So you see that Australia isn't the only country caught in a housing bubble. Yeah, right. I'm really sure that's it. Right, that's the true story. Right, everyone is talking about housing bubble. Okay, so is it bursting? Is it going to pop? What should I do if I go in to buy the first house? If I have many houses, what should I do? So now you have to understand short term and long term. Okay. So now I have to tell you that you know my point of view in long term, right? But I haven't really talk about the short term, because short term is not really my thing to guess. But I can study housing market just like an assets class, just like futures, gold, oil, or stocks. Is the same. Okay, so now you look at things like Donald Trump, UK President election, and also in Germany, you will understand that it's about uncertainty. So you see the gold is going up. So the global wise is really, we really have the concerns with it because of the issue of the financial institute, the mortgage institution in Toronto is going to like bankrupt. I don't think it's really all about that reason. It's accumulated something along with people thinking the price has been going up a lot. So they think the bubble is there. So now, look at that. Two things you distinguish. Be fair, okay? So the first reason is like that. You see, in Toronto, even in Australia, for example, in Toronto, you see in May, year to year, the sales of condos and sales of detached homes has been plunging for 26% and 6% and 10%. That's really scary, right? First of all, sales going down doesn't mean the price will go down. We have experienced it in Hong Kong, and then for US, experienced it in 2011 when we have the government ceiling, debt ceiling, okay? And also in 2006 when we first talk about subprime mortgage, people ignore them, okay? So I'm not saying that there's no bubble. I'm not saying that that's the reason that the bubble popped, right? Because in 2014 in China and Hong Kong, they experienced some political issues and economy downhill. But that doesn't mean they're going to recession. It's meaning that the economy is less than what I expect. So now I'll exit, okay? I'll return my money, okay? Stuff like that. But the sales volume has gone down by 90%, but the price it was only going down for 5%, okay, 5 to 10% max, and then now it kept on hitting historic high, okay? So that's not the reason, that's not how we should read the news. We should read price, okay? The second point how we should read the news is about price. The rationale of people saying that there's a bubble, okay, is about the condos and the detached homes, the price has gone up double, 20%, 30%. You know why? You know what? When the price goes up, it doesn't mean the valuation is high. Okay? Why? Because if they have, if a country, even a stock, if they have growth in behind to support the valuation, the price should go up, right? So just like your salary, okay? If your salary from fresh grad is like whatever, like 60K per year, now you're worth like 120K per year. So your salary has doubled. Will you say that you're overpriced? No, right? Because your experience and knowledge has doubled, right? So again, I'm not saying that there's no bubble. Again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't read news like that, okay? We shouldn't read news like, oh, the price has gone up that much, so that's why it should be coming back down. No, that's not wrong. That's wrong, because if the price will be going up more, like more than today, like 20% more, then today the price today is cheap or expensive. It's cheap, okay? So the real reason is about two things. One, economy, okay? It's global economy, because nowadays globalization, there's no big countries who will be not aligning with United States and China, okay? Even themselves, United States and China, for the last bull cycle recession, they're seeing their peaks on the same day, okay? So the second reason is supply and demand. So now we'll practice using supply and demand, one of the tool looking at the true reason of the supply and demand. Now, then I will talk about the short term. Is there going to be adjustment? I will talk about the mid and long term, okay? It's the supply and demand. If there's really a big demand in the country, so whenever people like the price going back down, I'm talking about Canadian citizens and Australian citizens, whether they're Chinese or not Chinese, because people saying that, oh, long resident citizen of Chinese, they should be banned from buying housing market. I agree, man. I'm Chinese, but I'm not like from mainland. Just like 90s, because we immigrated to Canada. Like literally, we really have kicked into the housing market, and housing market gone up a lot. Okay, but they stay at the same level without coming back down. Now, the mainland Chinese came and they immigrated and the price gone up. Does it mean it will come back down? No way. As soon as the policy changes, like there's no people in Canada, okay? So there's no demand. And until that day, you can say that, oh, that doesn't make sense, that's too expensive. But you know, there's demand. As soon as people with that demand and with the cash, they will buy. They will just buy eventually, right? So the real reason is supply and demand. The longest reason, the longest term reason housing market will pop is that people can never and no longer pay the mortgage. And not just one, it's the whole country. And just not whole country, it's in global wise. People cannot pay the mortgage. So they're forced to sell the houses, okay? That will make a really big panic, okay? So let's go in depth with the supply and demand. So I'll make the supply and demand. You will understand one of the points is to study just one of the simplest simple points is the newly married couples and new housing built. So this is the number from Canada, okay, from the whole country. Of course, you can break it down to Alberta, Toronto, Newfoundland, Yellowknife, stuff like that. But as more is in the whole country wise, okay. So you can break it down and you can make it and you can search. You could Google it starting from 2008. That's okay. So you see that ever since 2013. The new housing built is always less than the number of marriages. Okay, so what that means is I'm not talking about marriages because you're getting married. Most likely you need a new home. Okay, so of course now I've forced to rent, I've forced to stuff like that because there are many of the couples financially they're okay to buy a house, but they're just like thinking that the house is too expensive, but financially they're okay, right? As soon as the price is coming back down, they will kick into the market, okay? So the ones who are left behind is who get married and don't have cash, okay? So that could be that could be less of the people, right? So I'm not even mentioning people that after they graduated, they will just left home and buy a house, right? So that is another demand. I'm not calculating that. Also, I haven't calculated number of divorces, okay? So maybe they're not selling houses, maybe they do. But there's one simple way you can start studying right now. So I'm not talking about only like 2013. I'm not talking about 2008 and 7. What they accumulated demand is right now for the new housing built is not satisfying the accumulated demand at all. That's Canadian, not like mainland Chinese, but or Indians never like being Canadian. Okay, what about Australia? Same subject. Okay, so in 2011, so you see that number of marriages have gone up. No, I should say the new housing built is pretty low. So they started to catch up until 2015. The new marriages gone down a little bit, but the new housing built is also go up a little bit, but also accumulated demand is still out there. So by looking at this chart, you see that the greater potential lies in Canada, but there's a potential in Australia, but greater potential in Canada. So you see that that's eventually the price should go up unless all these couples or every one of them will agree. They have a telephone and they have a WhatsApp group saying that we all agree that whatever the price, whenever how much the price is going down, we agree 100% of us will not buy our first house. That's not going to happen, right? So why I'm so sure? Because of my another video about interest rate cycle. That is for the longest investment strategy. But the days will the bad days will come pretty soon, about like 1 year to like 2 year to 2.5 years. Okay, so but until that time, this is just a simple adjustment that I've seen many times. Now for short term, will it come down? Will the housing prices come down? Yes, I'm pretty sure because two reasons. First, they're panic, right? Because I'm making this math, making the data, many analysis. Many of them outside, many of the people outside, they're not studying about this. They're not talking about the supply and demand. They're talking about the sales volume plunge. That's it. So I'm afraid. So I'll sell my house and then I'll wait. I'm not buying. Okay. So that will make a short-term chain reaction, and the housing prices may come back down for a little bit. And the second reason is how, but you should grasp the chance if you're a first buyer. Now, first of all, if you have many houses, I suggest you not to sell. If you're too many, you can sell right now. But you have 2 or 4, you can wait. Okay. But as long as they are not 100% of your wealth, so you can wait. But if you're a first-time buyer, I suggest you to seize the opportunity to scare the beep out of the sellers that, oh, now all that bad news and the mid-June Fed decision is coming up, 100% of the chance they're raising the interest rate, right? You can take this chance to scare the sellers, and then you can take advantage of it and then buy a house that you should buy and supposedly should worth more than you can buy less of a price right now. So you can take this chance because people would not understand and not go this far as the demand supply. They always only talk about the price has gone up for how many percent and the sales volume has gone down for how many percent. That's it. That's too basic, and it will never be more important than supply and demand, interest cycle, and also the economy. That's it. Okay, so I suggest you to seize opportunities to buy the market. If you're a seller, don't be that stupid. Okay, so I know again you may have some negative comments, but in my 20 years of investment experience, I just want to share what I did wrong. So don't do the same mistake that I or my friends are doing. They sold their house too early. Now they're just watching the price go up with their bare eyes. Okay, nothing else. That's really the most painful feeling. Then you haven't bought your first house. Okay, so leave a comment, smash the like button, and share to all your friends. Stop panicking. Be like gather yourself, collect yourself, and then make a strategy out of it. And then for the sake of better future of yourself. So before next time, I'm Greg. Please subscribe and like my page. I'll see you next time. Leave me a comment. I will reply your question, or maybe I can make you another video. So I will see you next time. Goodbye.